Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is the Long War. I tried my best to sound like Robbie B, but it isn't. It is Juice. Robbie B is on a hiatus, taking care of all the Long War Kickstarter, Backstarter stuff. So tonight we have Kenny Boucher, Mike Haskell.
What's up?
And Austin Winfield checking in. What's up, everybody?
Loving life, man. Just loving life.
Yo, absolutely. What a great. We just came off the heels of a great show on the webcast, and we've got a full-fledged great hour packed coming up here soon. But before we go any further, let's take a couple seconds and hear from our sponsor.
Dear veterans, quickly make your way to thelongwar.net and find out how to reap your hard-earned spoils of this long war. For our allies at dicehead.com have rewarded us all with an extra 6% discount on all dicehead.com merchandise. So stock up, dear veterans, and enjoy.
And we're back. So now that is out of the way, guys, what a great topic tonight. And Austin, I'm so glad that you've joined us tonight so we can talk about something near and dear to both of our hearts. That's some IG Astra Militarum.
Hell yeah, man. You know the Beats Laboratory has been in full effect without the new guard stuff coming out. We were doing this before, so this new stuff that's all hitting, basically hitting the interwebs is only getting me more excited to play with this army that I love.
For sure. So later on in the episode, you're going to be able to hear Austin's top 5 Astra Militarum formations that is coming up. I'm super looking forward to that. So before we go any further, it's Kickstarter time.
Oh, is it? That's obviously
Kickstarter time.
That's obviously why Rob Bear is like we mentioned earlier, he's plugged into the Matrix. He is Guato, aka Guato, Gato with his little cats in his stomach from Total Recall. He's just getting it all done because obviously there's been a little bit of confusion with Kickstarter. Kickstarter is confusing, and the confusion has been attached to I can add certain things to my cart and I can't add others. Here's the easy way to look at it. You really can't add anything to cart. It's just all placeholders and pledges. In the next 48 hours, when the podcast comes to an end, when you're hearing it, which is like, I want to say Thursday, midday, maybe 24 hours, we are going to be sending out these surveys. And these surveys are basically order forms. So there's actually no danger whatsoever of you pledging some amount and you not getting your reward. Because it doesn't even process until, we have to take all that money in. We have to process all the orders. It is a whole thing. There's absolutely zero risk. You will be able to edit your pledges. You'll be able to add money, decrease money, and we'll be able to bundle shipping where available. So don't hesitate to, pledge the things you want. Don't even feel bad if you have been hesitating because you have an option. Once you get these surveys, we're going to be processing for the whole month of December, basically, and we're going to be getting everything perfect and saving everyone as much money as possible while giving them all the rewards that they're trying to get. Literally, no risk. Having said that, have you guys seen the new Adventurer's item pouch?
Yeah, the infinite bag of holding for 40k items and anything hobby related. Absolutely. Yo, this is the bag for everybody who doesn't know. This is the bag featured in every Beats Laboratory video at the Long War. Like, this is the epic bag that literally we reach in and all of a sudden I pull a cheeseburger out of. Like,
it's a sack, guys. It's a sack for sure.
Yeah, it's almost a satchel. It's literally Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I was saying Indiana Jones carried one of these.
Yeah. So, but on the real though, like literally, it's standing upright. It's not. It's when you see it in the videos, it's not leaned up or propped up against something, or we don't have like spears or something holding up the making walls for this thing. Like literally, it stands on its own, and we're talking about it stands 8 inches tall.
It is a huge, handcrafted, custom assembled, multi-pieced, fabric, high quality fabric bag. It is totally. All the hobby love we talk about is also in this bag. Total craftsmen love this bag, and I love giving it finally out to the veterans because we weren't sure if we were going to put it out there.
Yo, that is true. Like, we definitely talked about, like, man, maybe we shouldn't. There's already so much stuff, but That's Kenny, am I wrong or right? Like, it is literally, I feel like it is the number one thing people kept asking about.
It is the number one thing. And,
where's that bag? Is this the bag? Are you guys going to sell it? Are you guys going to have? So, also, do you know what fits really well inside of that bag?
3 Long War legendary shot glasses.
Absolutely. It's not only is it going to hold all your dice, it's going to hold your tape measure, your tactile, everything. Also, you're still going to have room for a couple major important things for when you go to events. 5-hour energies, shot glasses, and alcohol.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike's going to go over some stocking stuffers later in the show, but all these Long War things are great stocking stuffers as well for your hobbyist friends out there.
Yo, absolutely. And make sure that once you've clicked and you when you fill out your survey at the very end and you say that you want one of those and the shot glass and everything, make sure you get your Keeping It Icy hoodie. Because I've already got one. When I mean one, I mean two.
Juice, I was wondering, hopefully down the road you guys can come out with the Keeping It Icy white pouch.
Oh, you know what's happening. I just got to redesign it for embroidery. That's kind of the whole process as we keep everything in-house, keep our costs low. We spread the manufacturing love out between all these people in the community. And we actually operate on retail margins. This is actually a community building exposure Kickstarter. This is to get the name out there. So when you're walking around at your next event and you literally have the freshest shot glasses and the freshest dice pouch and all the sickest dice, people are going to ask you about that. And you're going to have an opportunity now to show them what Bringing Hobby Back is by engaging them, showing them a social contract, and then, partnering up with that person and kind of like being on the same team. If they eventually, become a veteran of the Long War, or they start listening to the podcast and we all start working together. That's the whole thing, is we're all on the same team. And that's kind of like teams wear uniforms.
Absolutely. And this is a uniform I want to be in.
Is it a Panther uniform?
Absolutely. So now that we've kind of spoke about that and moving on, Haspel, break us down and let us know a little bit what's on the horizon, what's kind of new in our mock, since Robbie B is in here, Tabletop Market Watch, and as Austin already alluded to, give us your Mike Haspel holiday stocking stuffers.
All right, yeah, I just wanted to bring up a couple things. First off, there's been a delay from Battlefront about the Team Yankee, that World War II game not World War II, World War III game we were talking about, where it was NATO versus Warsaw Pact. Apparently, they weren't happy with some of the tools that were being used for the T-72 tank and some of the other stuff, so they've delayed it as a kind of compensation for that. They're adding an additional tank to the initial wave of starter boxes. So that's kind of cool. And those have been
literally just adding it to it.
Yeah. And they are, and it's not delayed like a whole ton. It's like, it comes out in mid-December now instead of instead of this week. It comes out, later.
Wow. That's badass commitment.
Yeah. It's pretty sharp that they're doing that, and shows how dedicated they are. And then I just kind of wanted to go over it because this is the holiday season. People are buying some games and stuff like that. This may come as a shock, but there are other games out there than 40K. And we've got I just thought I'd throw out a couple of games. These are all about the $20 mark or less. And they're fantastic. They're good little strategy games. That you can throw somebody in a stocking stuffer or something like that. They're great games to throw in your bag for playing in between games or after the tournament, or when you're at the game store and you're waiting for your partner to show up and maybe he's running a little late. You can get a couple of these games in. The first one I wanted to talk about is called Coup, and it is like it's a game where you're guessing, you're trying to figure out who has the most influence and everything like that. What's really cool about it is you get 2 cards and the cards have certain rules that allow you to do certain things. Like an assassin will allow you to assassinate another player. The Contessa blocks assassins or whatever. But what makes this game really cool is that you can pretend that you have any card that you want. So you can say, I'm going to assassinate Kenny. Well, Kenny can just go, okay, well, he can say, I'm going to block with the Contessa. He might not have the Contessa at all. So when it comes down to it, it now comes upon me to challenge him and go, I think you're lying. I don't think you have the Contessa.
So you go through the assassination and see what happens?
Yeah. And so if he does have the Contessa, then I lost 1 influence because I called him out and he had it. But if I caught him in a lie, he loses an influence. If you lose 2 influence, the game's over. The object is to be the last guy on there. Lot of fun. Really, really fun.
It's like play. Indian poker or whatever they call that. It's awesome.
Yeah, it has a very poker-like feel to it. I mean, it has like income that you're taking from the middle of the table and everything, kind of like chips. A lot of fun to play. Great game.
Sounds like a game of bullshit. You ever played BS?
It does have that component in there, because you can just be like, hey, I'm going to do this. Bullshit. You don't have that card, man, and then you call them out. So it works very, very well.
I like it.
The next one is, again, more fun than it has any right to be. It's called One Night Revolution. It is a spin-off of another game. And it is just absolutely fantastic. It's basically a spin-off of a game called Resistance. I'm sorry, I introduced that it was a spin-off and then I didn't tell you what it was a spin-off of. It's a game called Resistance where you are in the Resistance and 2 people among the players are government informants, and you have 1 chance.
Oh, and you don't know who they are.
You don't know who they are. So it's a spin-off of One Night Ultimate Werewolf, if anybody has played that, where but the idea is that you get your ID cards, you shuffle them among people and pass them out. So nobody knows what they are. And then you have everybody closes their eyes and they'll have a moderator say, okay, informants, open your eyes. So the informants know who the other informant is, but they don't know anything else. And then there are different roles in there. So they have somebody like the instigator who can look at anybody's ID. He can like look it up, and see if somebody is. And then they have a guy called a reassigner who can actually swap people's IDs without them knowing because they've got their eyes closed. So you might have closed your eyes and you were one of the informants. But by the time you open your eyes at the end of the turn, you might not be an informant anymore. So you have to try to deduce who is who and who double crosses what. It's
like Clue, like back in the day.
Yeah, it is. It is
absolutely,
and
it sounds like it's a game of Clue that you'll actually get through.
Yes, these games play very, very quickly. A round of this would play in about maybe 10 minutes.
Oh my goodness! How many games
of
Clue have we ever started and never finished?
Oh yeah, they're impossible to win.
The other game I want to throw out, you've heard me talk about it here before. It's a epic card game. This is the game that is it plays similarly to Magic the Gathering or other CCGs, but everything you need is actually in one box. So for $15, you get 4 different factions. You can mix and match. You can play draft. You can play constructed. You can play all these different formats. There's like 4 different formats you can play for $15. And then after that, the other game I want to talk about is from that same company. It's called Star Realms. And if you haven't played Star Realms yet, you're wrong. It is one of the best deck building games ever. Again, $15, everything you need comes in the box. That's all you need. It is an ideal game to have just sitting around. You can play with up to 4 people. Just fantastic. And then the last game I'm going to throw out there, it's going to sound really kind of silly for a 40K podcast, but they have so many brands of this game. It's almost mandatory for a gamer to have this. It's called Love Letter. And the main idea is that everyone's trying to get their love letter to the princess, and you're trying to play influence on, you've got guards, you've got the king, the prince, the baroness or whatever. Everyone's has more power than the other person. And you're trying to get the love letter to the princess. So the princess is like the last card to be played. And they have rebranded this thing. I don't even know how many times. There's Adventure Time Love Letter. There's Batman Love Letter, for crying out loud. Well, because Batman.
I am Batman.
Do we have to get Batman a love letter?
No, it's different with that one. It's obviously they've changed the theme.
They theme it, so yeah. I get it.
But it's the same game. They just reskin it. And it is absolutely fantastic. And I think you can buy Love Letter for as little as $5 some places, So go down to your local game store, give them some love for Christmas, and pick up some stocking stuffers.
Absolutely,
very
man.
cool.
And speaking
Yeah,
of
amen to
going,
that.
speaking of going into like local game stores, man, like here in Southern Pines this weekend, December 5th, if I'm not mistaken, that's the date, is Hit Point Hobbies flagship event, Toys for Tots. And it's called War for Tots, where the hobby shop they put on an event, and just about all the proceeds gets raised for the Toys for Tot organization. And now last year, I know a lot of people from out of town came in. This year, it's going to be even bigger.
Yeah, I heard that there was a chance that I wasn't even going to get in because they pretty much were at capacity.
Yo, absolutely. I've had the TO and the owner have been calling me like, hey, we need a list of people's names and this and this. And I was like, well, it's about 5 guys. They're like, look, we've already got, the store can hold, and it's a big store. He's looking at like 40 to 46 slots or 45 slots, something like that. And once it gets close into pushing that, they don't want to have just all these people signed up and then all of a sudden have no place to play. So they really want to make sure that they set the right number of tables and make accommodations, however it has to be done.
Yeah,
You got me signed up for that, right?
Yeah, I got you signed up.
Austin's like, I'm literally driving from Virginia to give money to the kids. No, what's cool about this event though is that they raise the tournament rate. They give 50% of the entry fee straight away to the Toys for Tots.
Mm-hmm.
Then that gives you some raffle tickets. But then they do raffles all weekend. Well, obviously, you're not going to be content with your one raffle ticket because they got some amazing stuff that they're giving away all weekend. That that's going to get sold for undervalue. But like you need to buy those raffle tickets to get them.
Did you check out the in-game raffles that they're doing?
Yo, it is. Yeah, every year it's something different. You can buy rerolls. You can buy this. You can.
My favorite was you get to pick your opponent.
Yep.
That's one of the raffle tickets. Dude, that's incredible. Like that's for fun, and obviously this is a bringing hobby back environment.
100% at the beginning. And just the breakdown with that is like depending on how many raffle tickets you have and stuff. At the beginning of each round, there's a raffle that is pulled out, and you get bonuses for that following game. You can pick what table you want to play on. You get to pick your opponent. You get to pick this. It's really, really cool, and you go for fun. Believe me, with a set of great people that we're gonna have, and to be honest, there's big names. Horton is gonna. Matter of fact, we're gonna have Horton and Austin in the same room again.
I think Mike Twitchell is coming down.
Yo, absolutely. We've got Kenny, Rob, and myself. We're gonna have. Salahuddin is coming in from the Durham area. Like it is going to be a full-fledged. All the guys. Matter of fact, I think there's a good-sized carload that's coming down from the Atomic Empire.
Basically, almost everybody you've ever seen on an episode of our webcast. Of our battle reports. Almost everybody is going to be there.
Yeah, and then so I just want to for everybody who wants to be involved and is like, oh man, that's a cool idea. Maybe I can donate. Like obviously, there's channels if you live in a far, far away land or, on the West Coast or whatever, don't feel that, oh, well, I wish I could have helped and helped them. Do it yourself. This is a small community. Let me just tell you, 4 or 5 years ago when we started this, what we raised? There was maybe 15 of us, and we raised $250. And we looked around at each other, and when the guys from Toys for Tots came to pick up the money, they were so happy and so blessed that we even were able to do that. And it really felt good. And every year it's just almost doubled and more. We're up to last year was the best year yet, and every year has been better than previous. And we raised $3,200. Are you kidding me?
Man,
I love it.
Crazy.
I love it.
That is just unreal, guys. Like, and you're talking, this is a small town. We're not doing live auctions online or anything else. This is just the community coming together, and having 25, 30 guys in a room, and this is what you can do.
Definitely, obviously, if you can make the drive just to hang out, like we said, Juice, myself, and Rob are going to be there. Rob is going to be a dedicated technician because we're also going to film some battle reports while we're there. And we're going to experiment with a new format where we take a game that's being played in an actual event and we get an overhead view and maybe a couple insert shots with the iPad. And we're going to come back and slice it back together. And then we're all going to come together as a crew. And we're going to try to do thematically. We're going to try to do like maybe a John Madden style voiceover while we're playing the game. And I think even Juice was talking about if we got time, we got to do an MST 3000
absolutely.
themed battle report.
Absolutely. Depending on who we got playing, let's make it funny, let's keep it serious, let's whatever the case may be. It's just another way that we're going to try to breach out and try to do something that nobody else is doing, but still give you guys at home that couldn't make it to an event, and for somewhat you get your 40K fix by listening to us and interacting with us. Literally, we're going to give you a tournament.
I'm calling a Horton and Austin rematch on camera.
Oh, wow.
I feel like this either one would be amazing. It would. Kenny and I were like earlier when we were talking about this, when he had the idea and was saying about the Madden stuff. I'm like, dog, immediately when we get together and do the voiceover, we need to make sure that we've got a pin somewhere and I can start arrows. See, now what Austin wants to do here is run to the end zone.
But if you're talking about Austin and Horton, it's got to be like, oh, players are fucking up left and right.
Yo,
that's literally the worst.
Yo, so Kenny, you read my mind. I was literally like, oh man, we could get it serious, but then at the same time, it would be the perfect aspect for a Mystery Science Theater 3000 aspect, while we're just literally laughing at both of them. Like, oh, Austin, you fucked up right there, dog. He's about to capitalize. Oh, he didn't see it. You got away with it. Oh man, it'd be super exciting.
Very excited. Can't wait.
Yeah, so it's gonna be an absolute great weekend. And I've already put it out there for everybody else. Speaking of, Clay Cruz is coming down from the mountains and is going to crash at the crib. So anybody who needs a place to stay, you're more than welcome. I have plenty of room, couches and beds that should accommodate everybody. If not, we've always got floor space.
Two to a couch.
So. Yo, and for real, you've heard us talk about these couches.
The realest couches ever.
Yo, it is literally two to a couch, and you don't touch.
They're 8 feet long. Take the cushions off. 4 feet wide.
4 feet wide. Good to go. Yeah, it's going to be a really great time. Actually, Mike Hassel said he's flying in. He's coming this weekend. So everybody...
No, I wish. I wish. We're doing a tournament at Gamers Haven, like an annual small invitational that we do, which is a bringing hobby back event, but it's nothing like what you guys are doing. That's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Hey, any tournaments are always a really good time. Yeah. So, and last little bit, it's going to be cool because I get to play with. This is another event that I get to play with some IG, and that has been super on my mind and in my Army Builder high score game that I play every day.
In the Beats Laboratory, you are mixing the freshest beats with the IG.
Well, it's funny because me and Juice both love Guard. We both had our hand in that list, so I have that list on my shelf as well. But I don't think I'm going to bring exactly what Juice is bringing to this tournament. I don't think that would work.
It's so funny because I love it when we're talking with people. So, for example, Kenny and I talk, and we're talking Blood Angels, and he knows that I like Razorbacks and whatnot, and Thunderhammer Storm Shields, and and then it's got Kenny's Flare, and we're playing teams and stuff like that. And it's so awesome when you can bounce ideas around, stuff like in your own Beats Laboratory. Get your guys over there. Don't feel like you got to keep these things to yourself. Like, oh, I'm gonna catch my buddy surprise by catch him off guard with this secret tech that he's never gonna see. Like, no, get him involved, and then make it even better by bouncing ideas back and forth. And let me tell you, Austin and I did this to the max for on and off for about 2 weekends. It stretched out over a long period of time. And let me tell you, we are very happy with where some IG are at.
Really, you got me stoked, obviously, to get into the meat and potatoes of this episode. But before then, we got to get through the iconic, one-of-a-kind, legendary webcast recap.
Oh, yes. And
yeah,
Mike Hass will break it down for us.
Yeah, so it ties in directly to that War for Tots thing, because we've got Justin Cox here calling out Rob Baer for a game of Armada, of Star Wars Armada. He said that he's going to be at the event this weekend, and he challenges Rob to a game of Star Wars Armada.
I volunteer. I volunteer to be Justin Cox's hype man for that game.
Yeah, I told you, Justin Cox is riding down. He's actually driving me down there. So I know there'll be some Star Wars shit talking going on in that car of his.
All right, so I'm actually about to text the TO right now. Say round 1, Robbie B and Jay Cox are facing off, and they're actually not going to play 40k. They're going to play Armada.
You know, that would actually be kind of funny. Is that you
Oh my God.
You have a round of a tournament where you don't play 40k. You have to play another game.
Yo, round one, one-on-one Monopoly. Round two.
Oh my God.
You and I, round one, anachronism.
Oh God.
That's
yes.
right. Anachronism. Boom.
God, yes.
I'm gonna have to dig up some copies of that. Just
Oh my God.
Yo, I'm bringing it to Adepticon.
Definitely.
Sweet. Yeah, and then we've got a buddy of mine, Dave Jammin428 out of Chicago Town, and he's just passing on some kudos to Kenny and Juice for a Dark Angels versus Chaos battle report that they had, and he's like, long live the Land Raider.
Wow.
God, that stupid Land Raider Crusader.
What a
regular
game.
ass Land Raider Crusader. It was like multiple assaults with Rust, multiple assaults with a Great Unclean One, you know, like literally, like, you know, like Armor Bane or something, like literally just kept backing up and dumping all its weapons. It literally killed, and it was a kill points game.
Yep.
And like where I think he barely tied at the end by coming from behind. And I think like 3 of the 4 kill points he scored were all Land Raider Crusader.
Yo, absolutely. It came down to the aspect, you know, and the army didn't have, this is an OG army that I love. That army got put together and painted, you know, some years ago. And it was just my passion. Like, it was my side army. But you're talking about bringing like 16 models to the table that don't have 2 of rerollable saves.
Nope.
And Kenny came in clutch and was able to like basically wipe more than 3/4 of my force away. And next thing I know, it's like, oh, you didn't know I brought a Land Raider Crusader?
You didn't know that Land Raider Crusader is just chilling in the backfield, literally just the best. Like, killed the Herald, killed the whole squad of Blight drones, literally just kept going. I was like, this is insane.
Yo, and it was so crazy as I'd back up and shoot other stuff, and not even necessarily add the Blight.
Not even the things that were charging it over and over again. He came back to them at the end. He didn't even immediately threaten them.
Yep, absolutely. So
it was one of the clutchest battle reports of all time.
What a great game. So I'm glad that we could go down memory lane there. I might have to go back and watch that just to get a good laugh.
So fun.
Sweet. And then wrapping it up, we have Evan Valdyke, and he's apologizing. He says, sorry, not doing the Long War doubles, just so many great events, and already doing the 4-person team tourney, decided to do other games than 40K. And that's
cool.
Perfectly fine.
What a great point there is like, so to tell you the truth, on the way back, Kenny and I rode together, and we had it's like, what is it, like 16 hours about
16-hour beast mode drive. We're alternating back and forth, literally dying of sleep deprivation, and we can't sleep because we're too excited. We're talking too much shop.
Yo, just nonstop, and we left that night around like 7 or 8. Drove all through the night. I drove an extra hour back to Southern Pines and went straight to work, no sleep.
I took you to the airport, and I was like, I almost couldn't even make it home from the airport. Man, you had to work a whole day.
I had 2.5 more hours and worked an entire shift with my food truck. So, but the moral of the story is, when I got done, I looked at Kenny and we left, and I was like, man, I had such a great weekend and stuff. And I was like, there's so much to do at Adepticon. I might not even play in the singles next year.
Yeah.
You know, I said, there is so much. I would love to walk.
You missed it. You actually kind of pigeonhole yourself in. I mean, I went to Adepticon for years when they used to run this tournament within a tournament called the Iron Man. Remember that?
Yeah.
Where you would have to play.
Yeah.
You would play their what do they call that? What do they call it? The Gladiator tournament, the singles tournament, and the team, and it was the person with the highest score. And so it was like 11 games or something. And it was the Iron Man, and we all played it over and over again. But then I realized, I'm literally not getting the full potential. I didn't play singles at Adepticon. I've been going to Adepticon since 2007. I stopped playing the singles event at Adepticon for like 4 years, just because of that exact same thing that Juice was talking about. Because there's just so many things there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you just feel this. You're rushing, you're going, it's just game after game, and then the whole time that you're there, you're like, oh, I want to go eat, I want to go to Fratello's, I want to go to all these other places, that people talk about throughout the year, and I want to do all this, and I'm really honestly, so Evan, I feel you, dog. Like, there's so many things that can happen, during that weekend. It's like, what a clutch move. It's tough. Like, my psychosis, keeps me from wanting to do that sometimes,
And Adepticon, Hank and Adepticon, always been a long-time friend of ours. They're our partners. There's a lot of good things to do at Adepticon, including our event, but also there's things that are not our event that are amazing. As long as I require this, Evan, you better come by the tables. We're going to be playing for like probably 10 hours. if you do not come by the tables and get handshakes and handies,
Yep.
or hugs and handies from us, we're gonna be super mad.
Yo, absolutely, man. And the great thing is, as we talked about it in the show, we released to everybody in the webcast. Mike Haspel is the honorary 4th member of our Long War team for the team event. So guess what that means? The great thing is we're going to have the 4th judge walking around, the 4th, guy, so we can give everybody the full experience in the team event. It's going to be amazing, man. Like, I cannot wait for this.
Hell yeah, man! I can't wait. I've got a team as well. So, and obviously, I'm playing in singles. So that's one of the greatest singles tournaments I've ever played in. So I don't want to downplay that. But like you said, like I remember last year they had like a pirate game. Remember that?
Oh,
like
absolutely.
The whole floor was a damn ocean, and they gave you pirate ships fully
Coach.
painted, and like it was crazy. So this is the greatest event, in my opinion, to go to and kind of hang out with all your buddies around the country.
Biggest and the best wargaming convention in the world, without a doubt.
Yeah. And also keep in mind, guys, that because of like the crystal brush and stuff like that, you're getting some of the best hobbyists in the world under one roof. So a lot of these guys are holding classes. So if you find yourself like wandering around and, I was playing Combat Patrol, but I don't have anything for 2 or 3 hours, sit in a sculpting class. Even if you have no intention of ever sculpting green stuff, sit in that class. I guarantee you're going to learn something.
Yeah, that's a great point. And that's a great intro, Haspel, to something we always say before events, and it's never too early to say it. Literally, go to an event. I never want you to say to yourself or out loud, oh, I don't know anybody, I'm not going. You literally know myself, Kenny, Rob, and Haspel. Come hang out with us. Yes. Come kick it with us.
Shit, you know me, man. Find the guy that's drinking beer out of his backpack, and that'll be me.
Yo. Plus, Adepticon's the opposite of the real world. In the real world, when you say 40K, people don't know what you're talking about. At Adepticon, everybody knows what you're talking about. So you can strike up a conversation with literally
anybody. And so, like, we talk about this all the time. Obviously, you know us. And that obviously has to let us do our little skit that me and Juice always do about a real thing that happened last year.
Yo, let me just tell you this much. If you want to be a part of the in crowd and we have a great time, sometimes you can never talk about what happens in Vegas. Well,
you're going to want to. You're going to want to say some of the things you heard in that room.
Never. But can you ever?
You cannot. You can't do it.
Never. There's no videotapes. There's no sex in the champagne room.
None.
Oh, my God.
Can never be. Yeah, so you're going to have this amazing weekend. Oh, I kicked it with Kenny and Juice. We had this amazing time. What'd you guys do? Nothing.
Nothing.
That's how it's going to. Anyway, that's a good segue. We got to hit this commercial break real quick.
Veterans, have you been by thelongwar.net lately? New spoils are piling up. Sign up at thelongwar.net and claim your code to unlock valuable discounts at your favorite wargaming stores. Our friends at kingshobbiesandgames.com have added to that horde. An additional 5% off their already low prices. Sign up for free. thelongwar.net. Dear veterans, quickly, make your way to thelongwar.net and find out how to reap your hard-earned spoils of this long war. For our allies at secretweaponsminiatures.com have rewarded us all with an extra 10% discount on all Secret Weapon Miniatures merchandise. So stock up, dear veterans, and enjoy.
And we're back. And I think it's time to go into the meats and potatoes of this episode.
Man, I'm glad. I'm so happy with what we just been talking about, but literally that is all dead to me now because it's Astra Militarum time. And Austin, we get a chance to talk about all the cool new stuff that has just came out and something that that IG hasn't had for a while, which is formations. Austin, if I'm not mistaken, you have been playing something, one of the only formations that they've had. Is that correct?
Hey, man, yeah, I've been playing the Steel Host, and that's one of their tank formations that allows all of the tanks within 12 inches to get preferred enemy from the tank commander.
And that's actually a common YouTube comment we get on the videos. Every time you play, people think that you're playing it wrong and they think that you don't know what you're doing. They're like, Pask, his preferred enemy is just on him. You got a great battle report, but you're just, too bad for all those bad rolls because, you're extending that preferred enemy bubble. And I always have to comment, steel host, baby.
Yep. Steel host? Well, you say it nicer than I would. I would say you're wrong. You read the formation. But no, for real, a lot of people haven't played it because it came out in that the Red Wall, with the Adlance.
And what a formation that could get drowned out. I'm in the Red Wall. I've got other stuff. The only thing anybody ever remembers out of that is Adlance.
Adlance brutality, yeah.
Well, I'm telling you, the Steel Host is the real deal. So I ran that in the Long War League, which is still ongoing now. So check that out.
And before you say anything else, if you haven't already, go to thelongwar.net and check out all the battle reports that we're talking about. And you can see this Steel Host in full effect.
But on top of that was the only formation. They have like 12 to 15 formations that are coming out now in this new Manka book. Obviously, we're thinking there's a book coming down the road, but these formations that have leaked, have gotten us excited. Me and Juice have been talking guard for weeks, like we've talked about, but all this new stuff just puts more, fuel to the fire. Like they're just getting better. So we've got the top 5 kind of new formations that I'm gonna throw at you guys. This is all part of their Cadian Battle Company, which is their Decurion type detachment that Guard can now take.
Okay.
And everyone knows, everybody's getting this, this type of detachment, but this one's a little different. You only have to take one of the command. That there's no core requirements, there's no other requirements. You just have to take either a tank commander, a commissar, or a command squad, and then that opens up all these auxiliary formations for you.
So they're really trying to promote the tanks.
They are. So there's a lot, and out of these 5, 3 are very tank heavy for me. And we'll go ahead and start at the bottom though. Number 5 for me is going to be the Emperor's Spear, which is the aerial company for the Guard now.
Would you say it's the proverbial just the tip of the spear?
The tip. It's the tip of the spear. This is a formation of 3 Valkyries. 3 Valkyries or 3 Vendettas or any combination you want. So for all you Guard players out there that like your Vendettas, this is a way to take them now.
Yeah, because that was a huge blow was when they changed the way Vendettas worked, and I was like, I don't want because I love them.
Check this out. Like, Kenny, you might appreciate this. So you've got 3 Vendettas, right? Now, when you make a reserve roll, the way this reads is whenever you pass a reserve roll, the rest of the flyers may come in with it. So if you fail the first one and you pass the second one, the third one gets to come in for free. That's how it works.
I'll tell you what. This is going to be something I'm going to take. Because one of my favorite armies I was running back when IG was still Allies of Convenience with Chaos was I was taking that epic, Chaos Space Marines linked with Commissar Yark and 3 Vendettas. And I would do like Operation Double Drop, Commissar Yark out of one of the Vendettas.
Right.
And getting people's grill right out the gate. And it was so awesome. But like they kind of like made it hard to do. And I would literally play a Chaos Space Marine army right now with 2 Eldrakes. And literally apocalyptic ally with these guys just to take this auxiliary.
Well, I'm about to get you even more excited for that. You want to know why?
Why is that?
Operation Dumbo Drop is in full effect in this formation.
Oh my god.
So, like I said, 3 units of Vendettas or Valkyries. We already went over the how you roll for them. They basically all get to come in. You have your naval orders still. You've got your rerolls. Okay, at the start of your movement phase, you can declare that a unit from this formation is basically going to a low altitude drop. It basically becomes a skimmer, but it does not say it does. So, it's still flying, but it's flying at low altitude. It cannot jink, and it has to take terrain tests when it goes over terrain now. But however, Martels can disembark during this low altitude drop, and they do not scatter when they jump out the back.
Oh my lordy!
Oh my goodness!
So just start thinking about that. You've got this is if you're already taking flyers, they just got better, right?
For real.
Oh my goodness!
So I want to change this, the official name of this from the spear to just the tip. I want to change this to, is it in already? Is it in yet?
Oh my God.
Oh man! So again, the Emperor's Spear, that's the aerial company. We're gonna move on to number 4, the Emperor's Shield, which is the infantry company. So all you guard players out there, or we've all seen the guard blobs and guard stuff like that. This is a little new. I actually haven't seen the rules for the specific unit, but check it out. It's 1 company command squad and 3 Emperor's Shield infantry platoons. That's 3 platoons worth, guys.
Good Lord!
So that's
Okay.
so you can just take that as a detachment. I mean, it's like a base. Oh my God!
Exactly. This is the formation. So just your command squad and 3, and they're called Emperor's Shield infantry platoons. So they got some cool stuff. The company commander can choose to issue his first rank fire, second rank fire to every single unit in the formation.
Oh, I was about to say, you need to get some more company command squads in there for more orders. Well, you don't.
Yep. This dude can say this goes right off of what we saw with Tau. This counts as issuing a single order. If he does so, you take a leadership test using the highest leadership among the units.
Yeah, literally
blah, blah, blah.
like 250 las gun shots.
But there's a little. It's not as good as I wanted it to be. They all have to shoot at the same target. But take it into effect.
Oftentimes, strength 3 las guns require 250 shots to kill things.
Hey, 250 shots. I mean, but and remember, I went over it in the webcast. But this whole battle company. Remember, is getting to reroll ones to hit with their hot shot las guns and las guns.
So what I really like about that too is that gives some flair to units that maybe somebody has sprinkled in throughout their armies, right?
Oh, amen. Like I said, we've all seen people running guard blobs. They just got this extra rule now, so they have to be better.
You can take this though with the Valkyrie one and you can't because Valkyries can take 10 people, right?
The Valkyrie, yes, is the higher transport capacity.
So you can do the 3 Valkyries and you can put the shield guys, just take 10-man squads in there, and then you can come in and do a triple Dumbo drop with 30 dudes hitting you with the triple shots that reroll once.
Exactly, but like you said, these are Emperor's, platoons. You can still ally with, regular veterans. You can still do your Melta stuff. So you have some options with both of these. But like I said, these are things people already took, and they just got better. That's it. Nothing else changed except they got new rules. All right, number 3, Emperor's Fist. You guys catching the pattern here?
Yo,
Yeah.
Yes. I feel
Super
like
The Emperor's Fist.
Please tell me there's one called the Emperor's Beard. Please.
there's only a clear-cut number 1 for what I think the Emperor's blank is going to be for the number 1 slot, okay?
You and I both know what it is.
All right, so we're with the Emperor's Fist. This is the armored company, okay? So what does the armored company get? Well, obviously it's going to get tanks. It's very similar to the Steel Host as it gets 5 Lehman Russes. So it's a tank commander, so that's 2 tanks total. And then it's 3 Lehman Russ squadrons. So that's 3 individual Lehman Russes, or you can take more if you want. And then 1 to 3 engine seers. Now, I like the Steel Host a little better with the preferred enemy bubble, but this makes all your Lehman Russes ballistical 4 if you're within 12 inches of the tank commander.
I mean, that's really similar math, for
the preferred enemy.
For preferred enemy, yeah. It's similar math.
I'm taking it for the reroll that gets hot.
Yep.
But BS4, if you like Punishers and you're going that route, I mean, obviously
that's exactly what I was going to say. Is it depends on what kind of variant that you're looking for. Because let's say you want to go DAC and you're not really worried about that plasma. and or you like traditional with battle cannons, multi-meltas, and las cannons. You just want to make sure your stuff kind of has that redundancy to hit.
Yes, it's cool that they give you another option, like, but yeah, based on playstyle. I like that.
Well, check this out. They got some other rules too. So if you're within 6 inches of the engine sear in this formation, obviously the engine sear does everything me and Juice have come to love. But he also does this. If any of your tanks from this formation suffer a penetrating hit while he's within that 6-inch bubble, your opponent rolls 2 dice on the damage table, discarding the highest.
He makes them OG venerable dreadnought status.
Wow.
Like
That's
the old
tough,
Super
dude.
Falcons. Like Super Falcons.
This formation also gives +1 to all your tank shocks and rams for all these tanks. So all these things, if you were taking Lehman Russes prior to this, well, guess what, guys? They got better.
Better.
I mean, I'm trying to study on that old school venerableness. Like, it wasn't that big a deal. Like, even though it came in clutch every once in a while, like, you're an Armor 12, like, Dreadnought, right? You know, maybe 13, depending on, you know, what Space Marine chapter you went with or whatever. But, like, you're, like, ultimately a bunch of missiles coming in clutch. But when you're talking Lehman Russ chassis,
AV-14.
AV-14 venerable?
Means you can never one-shot it. Like, the whole idea there is that you're going to have to whole point these things.
Amen to that. Now remember that this is 6-inch bubble, but you can take up to 3 engine sears in this formation, so you're able to like spread out and
it's
keep
perfect.
this kind of army wide.
Yeah, you're talking like 22 total inches you can cover between the inch or 32 mil base, depending on what it's on, plus 6 inches on either side times 3, like literally 21 inches.
Yeah, it's literally Alpha Strike defense against a lot of armies.
So for me, between this and the Steel Host, which is not in this, so it's still legal, you know, just like Adlance's run still, you can kind of mix them in and you can get some really, really dirty tank lists if you're just going purely all tank. All right, number 2, which is probably my favorite, and Juice can agree to this. This is the Emperor's Wrath, the Artillery Company.
Whew.
Now, what does the artillery company get? Well, it gets it's the badassery of Guard, in my opinion. It's a company command squad and a Chimera.
Which I feel like all company
with
command
a Voxcaster.
I feel like all company command squads should be in Chimeras.
And then you get 2 units chosen from any combination. You can get Basilisks, Hydras, or Wyverns. So, obviously, Wyverns are still super clutch.
One of the best.
But if you have Basilisks laying around, obviously the Strength 9 AP3 is good, so just keep an eye out on what these guys get. Then you also get one unit chosen from the following: a Mana Core or a Death Strike. Obviously the Mana Core got that Strength 10. That's what me and Juice are loving. Then 1 to 3 Engine Sears as well. Now, what does this get? This is super clutch. The Artillery Command special rule. The commander from this formation can issue Smite at Will, Suppressive Fire, and Fire on my target. So that's pinning, split fire, and ignore cover to all of the vehicles in this formation.
That is.
Well, isn't it? Didn't you say it was actually like some of them? Like you were saying that you couldn't issue like the ignore cover orders to the Mana Core, right?
No, you can issue orders to everything in this formation. I was saying you can't make pass ignore cover.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So anything in this formation. So basically you're saying is I have a Mana Core now, which ignores cover.
It can ignore cover and target sighted. If you're within 18 inches of that command tank, the company command squad has a Voxcaster. 18 inches from him, you get to pick an enemy unit in each shooting phase, and all of your shots basically get twin linked when you shoot at that.
Yep. I mean, we're talking like, again, I know we broke it down on the webcast, but what I'm really loving is the layered threat that is happening right now. It is the layered shooting. And let me tell you what a Mana Core just got infinity times better with this formation. This Mana Core with the style list that we build, and IG players, we're going to throw it out there, and you guys are going to be able to see exactly what we're talking about. But a Mana Core is such a clutch vehicle, especially when all of a sudden you're talking about now Strength 10 AP4 ignores cover.
Yeah, when it's limited rocket supplies, which it only gets 4 shots in a game, when those things now have redundancy built in where they can be twin linked.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
They're almost an auto take in a lot of these tank builds. You know, like for the points that they cost, they're putting out so much firepower so quickly that they're almost, it's hard not to take them.
So good.
Let's also put a couple other things in perspective. Like, I'm actually really surprised in general that in 7th and 6th edition they took away pinning from artillery. Like, I just couldn't understand it. It's kind of like what they did. But
yeah, that was surprising.
Right? Like, I mean, I really thought it was surprising. But guess what? I'm happy to know that my wyverns now can cause pinning.
Amen. And don't forget, this is all coming. These are all separate formations. But if you take these with the battle company, the Cadian battle company, so the Decurion type format, obviously you're getting the reroll, the las guns. But I also mentioned in the webcast, and it's key to mention, obviously, because it's more important, that you can cast orders to up to 24 inches.
Yes, and that's something we talked about. This makes the command squad required. Before, the company command squad was just, it was there, and it was like, yo, let me should I get him in there? You can't move. It's such a limited range. I found so many lists that I was building that I just decided not to take them because I didn't want the headache of dealing with a unit that, at the time, I didn't feel like really contributed.
Yeah, and it's also, this is a layered thing that I keep speaking about, is like, and to touch on is what Kenny's saying is, there isn't the range of an order isn't that big a deal because your army, it's not the fact that the army is going to move away from the box caster or the person who's casting and moving forward, because that ain't going to happen. But you don't want to cornhole yourself with how some people used to play when leaf blower, back in the day was a thing. Well, all they did was just parking lot up in the corner and just say, here's my models. It's like, you can't do that anymore. Not with Death Stars. You literally put yourself in the corner, and Death Stars like, word, thank you for just making me run one. So now all of a sudden, how awesome is that? Because now I can divide my force up into 2 duplicate forces or anything else and put them, 48 inches apart from each other on opposite corner ends, throw my company command squad in the center, and now, with that detachment, and now all of a sudden sling orders 24 inches from the whole of this vehicle now.
Yes, you can get board control while utilizing your buff. That is something that they have not been able to do. That's totally like Austin's been saying. If you like these units, they just got better.
They just got better, man. And to put it out there, what me and Juice have been talking about, this is what's crazy to me. You can take the 2 units, you take 4 wyverns, 2 units of 2, right? You take the Manicore, you take the Engine Seer, you take the command squad in the Chimera with the Voxcaster. That's 600 points, Kenny.
It's not that many points.
That's very little points for what you're going to be able to.
That is a plug-in. You're telling me you throw a knight in there and that's a 1,000-point list?
Yeah. And then now I can break in.
That's good.
I can take Pask and my Punisher, my Plasma Cutioner, and again, we talked about the firepower and things of other lists of stagnant tau shooting. The just blah shooting of Eldar, which is amazing, but it's all the same. It's all between strength 6 and 7. There's no too much variations whether it goes to D. It's like strength 6, 7, or D. But what I love about, absolutely falling in love with, is what they're bringing to this, what IG is bringing to the table and doing with blast templates. With the
we're dropping
tanks.
Plates on your ass, dude.
Strength 3. You have strength 3 guns. I mean, like this is something we mentioned in the webcast. It's like there's a major difference. Like back when Eldar was like just BS, 3 blanket, there was a totally different game. The lazy designer route was just, let's just make this army have, everyone hits on 3s now. And I was on board with that initially because I was like, shooting armies shouldn't have BS 3 across the board. That's lame. Well, they figured out an exciting way to keep IG at BS 3, but give you more threat. Like Tau has a billion ways to be, they're BS3, but let's face it, they're not BS3. They're not BS3, and they always ignore cover. Like that is like, okay, I see you're trying to streamline it. You're trying to give me some cleverness. This IG is the first truly clevered, truly layered, and it goes beyond target priority. Like we always talk about these other armies that you can just shoot anything you want from any range, and you can move infinity. Number one, thing that people say in defense. It's like, well, you gotta have a good target priority. I was like, dog, you gotta have target priority to play this game. Like target priority, you play 4 games of 40k, you're like, oh, I understand now. Shoot these in this order. That is not truly a skill. What is a skill is figuring out how to utilize the vast majority of like this huge combined arms, all these different weapon types with all these different profiles with different APs and different strengths and different ranges, and they can all move and they do different things depending on how far they move, and you have to try to defeat your opponent with that. And at the end of the game, like you said, there's no get out of jail free card. I don't have a 55-inch jet bike move.
Yep.
I have to just get it done.
You just said it. That's why I enjoy playing guard. They're really good. Don't get me wrong. But they're not a cookie cutter.
They work out your 40k muscles, man.
Yeah.
They get the blood going.
You know,
They are.
Kenny said something some time ago when the Tau stuff came out, and the buff commander was a thing back in 6th edition. Is like, and a lot of people were using him. Pretty much everybody, and they were doing really well, obviously. And you weren't winning.
They were winning more games.
You're like, man, I'm so much better than this and this, and it's like, he broke it down and literally blew my mind when he's got it. It's like, yes, you have won more games in the last 6 months than maybe I have. But guess what? I have gotten better at 40K while you have gotten worse. And you're like, what? What are you talking about? I've won more games. Like, no, you've gotten lazy, dog. You forgot what it means not to just have a single model that gives you Twin Link and Door Cover, Monster Hunter, Tank Hunter, reroll everything, does all this for you for freezies. Now all of a sudden you forgot what it meant to move models together in conjunction. Think 2 turns ahead. Think if I do this and this, this will happen. So you come up with a combo, for crying out loud. Your combo of which unit is the buff commander joining this turn, that's not a combo. Yeah.
No, it's not.
You know what I'm saying? And that's reality. Like, playing the guard will get you better. Playing armies that challenge you, like as a player. That is where the game. That's what bringing hobby back is. Playing armies that give you more wins. That's not. I'm not saying don't do that. That makes you happy. But what I'm saying is, if you change the parameters of victory overall across the board, and you say hobby matters and hobby scores matter, you will find that pressure to win, as it melts away a little bit, you will find that you will be 100% more fulfilled in this hobby. If you utilize that script that we talk about, that challenge yourself, play what you love, play for the love, and do your best in that scenario, and you will get better at 40K. You will get sharper at the game, and you will have a more fulfilling experience overall.
Hell yeah, man! Hell yeah!
All right, so have we come to the final? Is it?
It's number 1 now. Before I go over this one, I'd like to say, all you guard players out there, whatever you're running, I almost guarantee there's a formation coming out for the models that you want to run. If you like Sentinels, there's stuff for them. If you like, the deep strike and the hot shot las guns, there's units for them. They just didn't make the top 5 for me. But that being said, number 1, the Emperor's Fury is the super heavy company. Now, what does that mean? Well, I looked at this when it came out, and I'm like, you know what? You're not going to see this all over the place. This isn't going to be floating around at lots of tournaments, but I'm telling you, this is no joke. 3 units in any combination. Bane Blade, Bane Hammer, Bane Sword, Doom Hammer, Hell Hammer, Shadow Sword, Storm Lord, Storm Sword, and 1 Engine Seer. So 3 super heavies and an Engine Seer is the formation.
How many points does that come out to minimum? You take your 3 tanks and your Engine Seer.
Man, 4, 8, 12. I mean, this is close to 1,500 points.
And this is what my brother David, longtime listener and friend of the show, everyone knows my brother, genius behind some of the next level painting conversions. He texted me the other day, like he's a fake 40K player. Like, he's been collecting models, converting models, and hasn't played a game of 40K in probably 5 years. Just recently resold his entire collection to pay for this his move. And then immediately, like 3 minutes later, after he's like, yo, I sold everything. He's like, yo, check out this list. And he sent me that with the Vendetta formation.
Dude, I mean, you can fit them in. So depending on which variant of the Bane Blade you're taking, you can fit more stuff in the list. But there's some cool special rules that come along with them. Obviously, they're selling these Engine Seers like hotcakes. Most of these formations with the vehicles have an Engine Seer requirement, and there's no different here.
Well, first off, thank you. And again, this is a tax. Is this a tax? Really? This is the best 40-point tax there's ever been.
Good Lord.
Right?
This is almost as good as Cody is.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's really good. I mean,
what I just realized?
Vehicles.
I forgot. Yeah, I forgot, Austin. We went through on the webcast. We kind of broke down how clutch he is and how he's the Swiss Army knife. for a tank army. But just to break down for everybody knows, like within 12 inches of the engine seer, one vehicle gets Power of the Machine Spear. Are you kidding me?
It's
wow.
such.
For free.
I would pay 40 points to just do that whenever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He does more than that.
I mean, like, he doesn't even have to be a base contact. We're talking about inside of a bunker, inside of this and this, literally behind wall where you can't see. You're within 12, Power of the Machine Spirit. Pask has been stunned, Power of the Machine Spirit. This is happening, also, he fixes hull points. He has a servo arm, so he's fixing it better. It really is super.
Yeah, let me put it this way. GW values Power of the Machine Spirit at 30 points. And the math for that is that look at the Chaos Land Raider and how many points less it is than the Imperial Land Raider. It doesn't have Power of the Machine Spirit.
Okay.
So Power of the Machine Spirit is valued at 30 points. This guy's only 40. So for only 10 more points, what you're saying is not just one vehicle army has Power of the Machine Spirit. The vehicle I need to have it has it. So that's way more tactical. And additionally, I have basically it will not die.
Yes.
That's
Agree,
incredible.
yeah. Being able to fix, weapons, immobilize results, and just hull points in general really helps all these guard builds that I've come up with.
Austin, how many ones have you rolled
Dude,
with
a
moving
million.
through terrain?
Like, it happens all the time. I'm trying it happens.
Is that not like the worst feeling in the world? But guess what?
Oh my God.
You got a couple
It is.
of these.
The worst is because I call it out too. Like, I know it's happening. Here it is. There.
Anytime it's clutch. That's why I still love Chaos, because Chaos Land Raiders have the Dozer Blades for 5 points still. And obviously Dozer Blades are not always like, sometimes they're a sucker's play, like when you put them on certain vehicles, but when you put them on, like when it's on Pask, and you don't, and you roll that one, you're like, I literally want to kill myself.
I know.
Yep. When you roll more ones than binary, get the Dozer Blade.
All right. So back to the Engine Seer. The Engine Seer in this super heavy formation, his Blessings of the Omnissa rule to repair the vehicle, you add 2 to that result, which goes down to a 3-up. On a 3-up, he's healing these super heavies.
What? On a 3-up?
On a 3-up, dog.
And
Juice, it's time for your classic line, Juice.
Do what?
It's time for you. It's time for your classic signature line. Find a door.
Yo, exactly. Find a door and shut that sumbitch, because this is unbelievable. And it comes with 3 in this unit?
It's 1, right?
Yeah, it's just 1 Engine Seer.
Can you have up to 3?
No, not in this one. This is just the one beast. He's a bad mofo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he is a bad man.
He's the truest pimp of all.
Okay.
Series.
Now, back to the pinning discussion we had. Obviously, the formation before we could issue orders to make Wyverns pin and stuff like that.
Are you telling me this Engine Seer can issue orders?
No. The devastating bombardment. If an enemy unit is hit by 3 or more of the primary weapons from this formation, it must make a morale check on 4d6.
What?
Yo, dog, make a morale check on 4d6.
Yeah, that's not okay.
That is upsetting. So it says hit. Does it say hit, or does it follow normal protocol for causing?
If an enemy unit is hit by 3 or more primary weapons.
Oh, so like single model units that aren't fearless can fall back.
You're talking to my list. I'm hitting you with 3 10-inch pie plates. I could hit like half your army 3 times.
Yeah, you can honestly hit 4 different units if they're spread out, literally just 1 from each, and just hit, and now 4 units have to take morale checks on minus.
Now I'm going to be honest. The reason this is number 1 on this list for me was this rule, because in this Monka book, guess who they're fighting, guys? They're fighting against Tau.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, so good.
Go ahead and
make the whole Tau army
castle
break
up. We'll make your whole damn army run off the table.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
I mean,
and then for funsies, the ground shakes. Enemy units within 12 inches of at least 2 of the vehicles, you have to move as though you were in difficult terrain.
So even like that's a last contingency, a charge protection. Enemies. So I assume that works for assaulting too.
Yep, amen to that. Definitely works for that.
Like, I mean, it seems pretty good. Like that's an amazing top 5. One of the most exciting top 5s I think we've ever done on the show.
Yeah,
it's funny. We Kelsey, my buddy Kelsey, I wasn't able to make Mechanicon this year, but there was someone there with 3 super heavies because they allowed everything.
Oh my God! Just like you said. So if you're someone out there who already plays this And there's a person.
You
who
just shit
replaces-
yourself.
You just
You
shit your
just
pants.
literally shit yourself.
You
Guess
just
what?
lost your gallbladder.
I retract previous statement. This formation is the is it in yet formation.
Yeah. No, it's balls deep. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, unbelievable.
Well, fellas, that's a lot of knowledge bomb. Obviously, there's so much more coming out in this Monka book, and then hopefully in a full-fledged codex with everything in it, kind of like the Tau had. But you guys can see the pattern. I mean, they're good. They have been, and they got better. So
GW, I am giving you a strong golf clap right now. Like, good job, good one up. You know, if you can keep this up, you know, maybe you don't have to redo codexes and stuff all this time. Like, this was a score versus some of the other stuff you've done versus all the formation and detachments my NIDs got back in the day.
This is good news, man. This is making me. I was getting sad after I heard some of these rumors, and I was like, damn, when Chaos comes out, it's gonna suck. But man, if they're gonna keep this alive, this trend alive, Chaos might not suck anymore.
Yo,
Well,
I can't.
Chaos sucks.
Yo, no, I can't.
Chaos will always suck.
I can't wait to see what like 4, soul grinders seem like.
Oh no.
They've already, yeah. I mean, you're so right about it. We have a few more minutes left, and we can probably do a hobby pipe dream segment here. Before we do that, let me just reiterate the Long War Kickstarter. Probably less than 40 hours, probably 36 hours by the time you guys hear this. Get on there, be generous with your pledges, get your shot glasses, get your epic dice pouches, and you don't have to feel nervous because when we start sending you guys the surveys, everything will become clear and we will do as much bundling as we can and you will all get your rewards. There's literally no chance of anyone pledging and not getting the reward. Kickstarter doesn't work that way. Everything will be fine. Having said that, I think Austin, since you are the Imperial Guard expert right now, and I think you might have a hobby pipe dream to hit us with to wrap up this show.
Well, amen to that, dude. This is going to absolutely kind of wrap up everything we talked about because Guard's coming out. I've been playing Guard. Adepticon's on the way, and I'm playing Guard there. Now, at Adepticon, if you haven't been, it's a damn spectacle when you walk in that place and you see the display boards everyone's got for singles, for the team tournament especially. But my hobby right now, my pipe dream, is trying to get this. I want an epic garage, style display board for my Imperial Guard tanks. I want engine seers working on them. I want, multiple levels with my, Cerastus Lancer Titan in the garage with kind of Pacific Rim, like, if you know what I mean.
Or
like a big
Liberty
gantry
Prime
kind of thing.
That's in my head, my limited artistic ability. Obviously I reach out to my more talented friends, my Adepticon team hopefully will be helping me out here in the near future. We are the Wobbly Modelers, so check us out when we get to Adepticon.
Calling it Austin's Garage.
Dude, I can't wait. So obviously there's so many good hobbyists out there that I just hope to, just make a board that's worth sitting on the table. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, that's awesome, man. Like, yeah, I definitely love that aspect of the Austin A-Dog Fix-It Emporium.
I can't believe I used that squad at a perfect opportunity to call the garage the Emperor's Garage or the Emperor's New Garage.
It's the Emperor's New Garage. Yeah.
I can't believe I missed that.
Yo, but that is awesome, man. Like, and that's exactly what it takes. Like, it is a full-on spectacle. There's dry ice. There's full SWAT member teams, or guys dressed up in Tau uniforms and stuff. Like, I mean, it is anything that you can think of.
One year, many years ago, someone had built a full-scale Battlefleet Gothic Orc cruiser, and where all the Orc models from their team would be on it at the scale of 40K. So they had to build the Orc cruiser around it at scale. It was literally like 10 feet long.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I actually wasn't there that year, but I YouTubed it because people told me about it, and it was unbelievable. It's still out there on YouTube now. I couldn't imagine anything better than that. That was unbelievable.
So incredible.
Well, guys, I feel like we've pushed it to the limits.
I wonder if Mike Haspel did his homework and got us a new signature outro.
Always, man.
Well, absolutely. Well, guys, I appreciate everybody hanging in there and doing a great job. And Austin, man, absolutely love always beatbox 40K with you, as we always do.
Oh, thanks, man. We'll do it again this weekend, I promise.
Absolutely. Haspel, what you got?
All right. Traveling through hyperspace ain't like dusting crops, boy. Without precise calculations, we could fly right through a star or bounce too close to a supernova, and that'd end your trip real quick, wouldn't it?
What does it mean to be a veteran of the longwar.net? You are the first in the door to all exclusive content, and your clearance will be raised for the earliest access. You can enlist for free. When you're a veteran of the longwar.net, you are the front line to bringing hobby back. Join our Hall of Veterans at thelongwar.net.